stakeholders keep saying, that's not what I had in mind, that's your cue. Add wireframing to your workflow. It gives you early directional feedback, so you're aligning on structure before you're arguing about colors. Do you struggle to comprehend industry jargons as an early career UX or product designer? If so, don't worry, you're exactly who the series was made for. I have compiled an A to Z guide to product design terms to help you understand and use them confidently in your communication, so as to set clear expectation and show your value as a designer. So far, we have covered letters A through V, and today we are on letter W, and our word for today is, drumroll, wireframes. By the end of this video, you would know the true definition of wireframe, the different types, how they're used in real UX processes, how to create them step by step, and how to avoid the most common mistakes. Now, let's get into it. What is wireframe? A wireframe is a low-fidelity visual blueprint of a digital interface. It defines the structure, layout, and functional frameworks of a screen before any visual design is applied. It's not about making things look good, it's about making things make sense. Wireframes focus on element placements, information hierarchy, content organization, action flow, and core functionality. They intentionally strip away color, typography, imagery, branding, and visual styling. Think about how an architect works. They don't choose paint colors before deciding where the walls go. They define the structure first because structure determines how everything else functions. The same principle applies to product design. A wireframe lets you answer critical questions like, does this layout support the user's goal? Is the primary action obvious? Is the information prioritized correctly? Does the flow feel intuitive? Are we solving the right problem structurally? Without the noise of the visual polish, you are forced to confront the fundamentals. The different types of wireframes. There are 3 types of wireframes, and knowing when to use each one is what separates a tactical designer from a strategic one. Low-fidelity wireframes. These are rough sketches that will typically be made in black and white, made of simple boxes and lines, sometimes literally pen and paper. They are messy on purpose. They are not concerned with perfect alignment, spacing, or branding. You are thinking, what goes where? What's the primary versus secondary? What does the user do first? What happens next? Low-fidelity wireframes live in the early ideation stage. This is where you explore, question assumption, and generate multiple layout ideas quickly. The biggest advantage is the speed. Speed lets you test more ideas. More ideas increase the chances of finding a better structure. If you find yourself adjusting padding at this stage, you've gone too far. Mid-fidelity wireframes. Now we add structure, but not decoration. Mid-fidelity wireframes include more refined spacing, clear navigation, hierarchy, realistic content placeholders, refined components, cards, forms, modals, and basic interaction states. This is where things start to feel real. You are no longer asking, what could this look like? You are asking, does this flow make sense? Can users complete the task? Is everything confusing? Are you prioritizing the right information? Mid-fidelity wireframes are powerful for usability testing. They are detailed enough to simulate the experience, but simple enough to iterate quickly. This is the sweet spot for your product teams. If low fidelity is exploration, mid-fidelity is validation. High-fidelity wireframes. Now we're approaching realism. High-fidelity wireframes are more detailed. They closely resemble the final layout, may include real copy, may be interactive, and often looks almost done. But here's a nuance. At this stage, we're still validating structure, not final visuals. High-fidelity wireframes help you confirm layout decisions, stress test edge cases, align stakeholders before visual polish, and prepare for development handoff. The risk here is that people may get attached. When something looks finished, people treat it as finished. and attachment slows iteration. That's why you don't rush here. The key is knowing when to use each level. Early stage, stay low fidelity. Flow testing, move into mid-fidelity. Pre-development alignment, use high-fidelity wireframes. But here's a mindset shift. Stay low fidelity longer than feels comfortable. Because the moment you introduce polish, feedback changes. People start talking about flow, they start talking about fonts, and now the conversation has shifted too early. How wireframes are used in UX design. Wireframes aren't just sketches, they are decision-making tools. They serve 4 major purposes. When you understand these, wireframes stop feeling like extra work and they start working as leverage. Planning, layout, and structure. Before you think about visuals, answer one fundamental question. Does this layout support the user's goal? Wireframes help you organize content logically, establish clear hierarchy, define primary versus secondary actions, decide what deserves attention first. For example, if a user's goal is to complete a payment, is the primary call to action dominant? Are distractions minimized? Is the supporting information clearly secondary? Wireframing forces you to confront prioritization. When everything is gray boxes, hierarchy becomes obvious or painfully unclear. It's much easier to fix structure in grayscale than after applying the UI kit. This is where information architecture and layout decisions happen, and those decisions shape the entire experience. Communicating with stakeholders. Let's be honest, requirement documents don't excite anyone, at least anyone that I know. Abstract conversations create misalignments. Wireframes create a shared visual language. Instead of saying, we would have a filtering mechanism with dynamic content states, you show, here's the filter, here's where it lives, here's what happens when it's applied. Now everyone sees the same thing. It prevents the classic, that's not what I had in mind moment, because alignment happens early before emotions are attached to the polish. Wireframe also shifts conversations away from subjective debates like, I don't like the shade of blue, towards structural questions like, is this the right order of information? That's a more productive conversation. Testing usability. This is where wireframes become powerful. You can test navigation clarity, user flow, findability of features, task completion, and cognitive load all before a single pixel is polished. For example, can users locate the checkout button? Do they understand what happens next? Can they complete the task without guidance? Wireframes expose friction, and catching friction early saves time, budget, and engineering efforts. Testing usability at the wireframe stage means you are validating experience and not aesthetics. And experience is what users actually care about. Exploring options quickly. This is the most underrated benefit. Wireframes allow rapid experimentation. You can test 3 navigation layouts, 2 dashboard structures, or different onboarding sequences in hours instead of days, because you're not styling, you're structuring. When iteration is cheap, you explore more. When you explore more, you discover better solutions. The cost of skipping the stage, you explore fewer options, commit too early, and fix things later expensively. Wireframes create a safe space for experimentation. They give you permission to be wrong quickly, and the speed reduces expensive rework later. How to create a wireframe step by step. Step 1. Define the user task. Before opening any design tool, answer, what is the user trying to accomplish? What is the starting point? What does success look like? Write the flow in this format. Entry, key action, supporting actions, completion state. Do not design screens until the flow is clear. Step 2. Sketch the core screens. Identify only the screens required to complete the task. For each screen, place primary action, place supporting content, remove anything unnecessary. Use rectangles for containers, lines for text, boxes for buttons, and images. Make sure you keep everything grayscale and do not add styling. Step 3. Establish visual hierarchy. For each screen, identify the primary goal. Make the primary action visually dominant. Reduce emphasis on secondary elements. Remove redundant content. Ask, is it obvious what to do first? Can the task be completed without explanation? If not, simplify. Step 4. Add functional notes. Add short annotations for click actions, hover states, error states, conditional logic, navigation behavior. Here are some examples that you can add annotations to. CTA disabled until form complete. User redirected to confirmation screen after submission. Keep annotations concise and functional. Step 5. Create 2 to 3 structural variations. Do not refine the first version. Create at least 2 layout variations or 2 hierarchy approaches. Compare them. Select a version that reduces cognitive load, shortens task step, makes the primary action clearer. Step 6. Review and test. Show the wireframe to a teammate, a stakeholder, a potential user, and ask the following questions. What is the screen for? What would you click first? What feels unclear? If they hesitate, revise the structure. Step 7. Refine before moving to UI. Once the structure is validated, clean spacing, ensure consistency, remove unnecessary elements. Only then would I recommend you moving to high fidelity design. Common wireframing challenges. Problem 1. You make them too detailed. Time box your wireframes. Use 30 to 60 minutes per concept. Stay scrappy. Messy thinking invites critique. Problem 2. Stakeholder says it looks ugly. This happens. They can't see past the gray box. To fix this, set expectation before review. Say, this is intentionally low fidelity. We are validating structure and flow today and not visuals. If you don't set context, people default to aesthetics. Problem 3. You skip wireframe under deadline pressure. We don't have time. So you jump straight to high fidelity to fix this. Time box 1 to 2 days for structural validation. Even 6 focused hours of wireframing can prevent weeks of revision. They reduce rework, they improve alignment, they sharpen your thinking, and over time they train you to think in systems and not screens. So let's recap. A wireframe is a low fidelity blueprint that focuses on structure, hierarchy, and functionality before any visual design is applied. If stakeholders keep saying, this isn't what I imagined, don't redesign the UI, redesign your process, add wireframing. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. It helps more designers like yourself discover this series. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss the next letter in the A to Z of product design. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.